This next match is a little bit special, a piece of Masters history, because for the first time ever at this event, an All-American PBA bowler is here to compete. Chris Barnes of the USA has come to put his reputation on the line at the Masters, and the woman that stands between him and a place in the quarter-finals is the determined Danish bowler, Britt Brøndstad.
It's a special match yesterday, yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to it, though, very much. I think this is my only chance to actually meet a guy like this face to face and have the chance to beat him. So I'm going to do my best, of course, and see what happens. He's an excellent bowler. He's bowling it probably before I got born and on the Pro Tour, and I know he's won a lot of money, and he's just a great bowler overall. So I know no one expects anything, probably. The pressure's on him. It's great. It's great. It's very intense. You're very on at the moment you bowl, and I haven't experienced it the same as this anywhere else. I go to Istanbul next weekend, and then for the world ranking, Kuwait. So I'm quite busy at the moment. I work with bowling, so that it's all bowling, bowling. I might be slowing down a little bit after the summer, just to get a bit of, easy and quiet and not bowl that much, because I feel like it's being too much at the moment. So I'll probably be taking it easy for like half a year or a year, focus on my bowling at home instead.
I've seen hundreds of player profiles over the years for the 10-pin bowlers, and you wouldn't believe the amount of players that list Chris Barnes as their all-time hero. Well, the pull of the Masters has drawn him here to compete for this title, but Chris Barnes remained typically modest about his role in creating Masters history.
Well, I'm honored to be invited here by Matchroom Sports. It's an event I've got an opportunity to see a couple of times. I've always thought it was unique and it was a special event. And I was as surprised as anybody. I suppose I got here on the coattails of my wife, but I'm happy to be here nonetheless. The crowds are fantastic. I've gotten to see a lot of friends. I used to come over for the British Open when I was an amateur, and I've seen a lot of the players that I used to bowl against back at that time. Well, my first round opponent is Britt Brøndstad, and she has many international titles. And as far as losing to a female, I lose to my wife all the time, so I'm not afraid of losing to a female. But nonetheless, I don't really want to do it either. I have my hands full right off the bat, and I'll have to show up with everything I have. At home, that's all I do is I bowl. So my off days, I practice, and then there's tournaments, and I just stay as busy as possible. I'm not much into taking time off. When I do, my game gets out of shape pretty quickly. So I tend to spend a lot of time in the bowling center, and that seems to serve me best. It's all physical to a point, and then once you reach that upper tier where everybody in this tournament is, then it becomes a lot about decisions and how you handle the environment and the pressure and lights and cameras and everything else. So a lot of it turns into a mental preparation and execution on the day of the tournament. I'm coming right off of a Tournament of Champions win for $100,000, and then that qualified me for a special event, the Motel 6 Roll the Riches, which won $200,000. And so my arm swing's awfully free right now.
So, Britt Brøndstad about to begin the game of her life against the USA's Chris Barnes. Let's get to the action, and in the commentary box, it's Chris's wife, Linda. She's alongside Nick Halling.
Well, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Battle of the Sexes number 5. Chris Barnes against Britt Brøndstad. And Linda Barnes, Chris's wife, in the commentary box with me. So, are you going to be supporting Britt for a bit of a girl power thing, or are you going to be sticking with your husband? Which way are you going to go, Linda?
Well, this is a tough call, but I got to go where the money is. Britt's a great bowler. I mean, it'll be a good match, and he's going to have to do well and get off to a good start. So I'm just going to watch and see what happens. I'll try and be as impartial as I can.
Call it as you see it. And the one thing we do know is that Britt Brøndstad, back-to-back European number 1, and making a second appearance here at the World 10-Pin Masters as a result. If you're the European number 1, you're no shabby player, and to defend that ranking means you are a little bit special.
Absolutely. She's just a great player. She's got a real nice, simple game. It'll be fun to watch what she does against Chris.
Yes, making her second appearance. It was a disappointing debut for her last year. She went up against Guy Kaminski, the South African, in round 1 and went down, but at least that's given her a little bit of experience of what this lane is all about. And Chris, who's bowled all over the world and with high stakes, as we've heard, at stake, has never quite bowled in an environment like this.
Yeah, the one lane is challenging because it changes the timing. Instead of getting up and throwing 2 shots, you're only getting up and throwing 1. So it really changes the timing of it all. But, you know, he loves the crowds. He loves to just go out and have a good time and be a showman. So I think he'll enjoy this.
Originally from Topeka in Kansas, where he grew up as a big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, so I believe. But now living in Dallas, but not a fan of the Cowboys.
Absolutely not. You can't even go there with him.
Britt Bronsted, the Dane, to start things off for us here. Let's see what she can come up with. Remember that format, it's so short, 2 games. You cannot get off to a slow start and expect to win. So Britt Bronsted will want to get right in the pocket and knock them all down. How does she start? Well, that's not the best of starts for her.
Yeah, they look a little tight down lane. Looks like she's playing further right than some of the other girls have played. We'll see how that plays out.
It's a gettable spare, but it wasn't the most convincing first ball that you've ever seen from Britt Bronsted.
Yeah, the first one might have a little bit of nerves attached to it, but I'm sure she'll get stronger as she goes here.
It's not easy in this auditorium, is it? You've got to kind of dial out that distraction of the fans everywhere. You know, we welcome them and we want them here, but they can be a distraction. If you start thinking of faces in the crowd, you're in trouble.
Absolutely. And there's, you know, it's a great crowd with there's a lot of kids running around, so parents got their hands full trying to keep their kids still, and hopefully you get focused in on just your target and everything else becomes background.
Well, that's what Chris Barnes is doing right now. It's just Chris, the ball, and those pins. And his first ball.
Great shot. Good shot. Good start. And speaking of crowd distractions.
Is that what he's complaining about there?
Yeah, somebody must have moved down lane.
So he takes out his plastic spare ball. Let's take another look. Look at his reaction. He knows it. He's looking at it. Is it going to go? Is it going to go? No. Blame it on the kid in the crowd, Chris. That's easy. So they both open up with a spare.
Oh, guess he didn't like that first shot.
Yes, I wonder if he'll make an early ball change here. Because he's not entirely happy. Let's see what Britt can do. It wasn't the most convincing first ball we've ever seen. She got away with it. Just needs to settle down. And that's all over the place.
Yeah, that's in that spot that's out of bounds. If you hit that, there's just too much oil there to get it back. You know, even the guys with the big hand can't get it back from that direction. So she's going to have to get a little tighter with that.
Yeah, we've noticed this in earlier matches. So many players have missed the head pin, and we're talking about world-class bowlers here. It shouldn't happen, and as you say, you're all getting trapped by this part of the lane that is just taking that ball and letting it sail on.
It's really tough, too. When you know there's an out of bounds like that, your swing gets real tight. So it gets hard to get out there and get loose and just go with it. So
it's good. Nicely done. Yeah, that was a tough spare, and she's claimed it.
Chris will be looking to jump all over this. He's going to try and get off to a good start. He knows how good she is.